Hey, everybody, we are live back on Bucks Live. My name is Rick Hughes. I'm here with no dazzling Dave tonight. You're stuck with me. So the show probably won't be quite as smart, but hey, we'll have more fun. Uh, when the cat's away. Anyway, guys, we got a lot to talk about. The Bucks are in first place. They are in first place in the NFC South. Like it or not, and some of you I don't not so sure. We're going to talk about that. We're all over the place on the internet. We'll talk about that. We've got all kinds of shenanigans coming up. We've got hopefully some special guests and a good time ready to be had. It's the key part of the year, and the Bucks have a lot to be excited about. It's time to celebrate on Bucks Live.
Are you ready? Get ready.
Get ready. It's time for Bucs Live.
Wait a minute. Bucks Live.
Bucs Live.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers talk with Rick Hughes and David Whitecarver.
This is
Bucks Live.
Let's Go.
Hey guys, let's go. We got lots to talk about, so much to talk about. I'm excited about tonight. You know, guys, we've had so many weeks of Buccaneers fans complaining and everybody griping and moaning and talking about how horrible everything is. Tonight, guys, it's time for a little catharsis. We're going to talk about a couple of things. First, we're going to talk about what happened against the Falcons, and then we're going to talk about a look ahead. But what I really want to talk about, also, in addition to all of that, is what's going on around the league, because there's a lot, and a lot of it has to do with the Buccaneers, with this whole season. With this whole season, the way things are shaking out, the way things are going down, it's a different kind of year by any means. And everybody needs to understand when you're looking at how things are going, keep things in perspective. When you're calling for Todd Bowles' head, when you're calling for Baker Mayfield's head, when you want Kyle Trask in there because why not? There's so many different things that are going on. Let's get some perspective today. Let's talk about this past game. Let's talk about the game coming up, and let's talk about let's dip our toe into what lies ahead in the future for this team, because there's some important stuff to be talked about. There's some important stuff to be discussed that all comes into play. And I hear you, and I see you calling for Todd Bowles' head. I hear you, and I see you screaming for Baker to be gone, and I blow the whole thing up. And I mean, I hear you, and I understand you're frustrated, and we're going to talk about all that. All right, but let's talk about the Falcons game. The thing that I see most posted about the Falcons game is that one play where the Buccaneers had 9 players on the field. Listen, I can promise you, if you go back to any season, any season, any team, and take one screen grab, you're going to find a play here or there where the team did something bad, did something stupid, players weren't where they were supposed to be, whatever. That's that's normal. What I want to talk about and talk with you through is plays. Listen, that's not the only play that happened. The Bucs won the game, and that gets lost. And then everybody says, well, it's just the Falcons. And every time the Buccaneers win, we find ways to excuse the fact that they won and blow it off and say, yeah, it's just, the Panthers. It's just this team. It's just that team. but they're winning. And if they weren't winning those games, a lot of you guys would be saying an awful lot. Now, listen, it's good to be a Bucs fan right now. It's good to be a Bucs fan. I can tell you, having been a fan since year one, since the very beginning, I can tell you, 6 and 7, there are years we would have killed for that. There are years we would have killed for that. And I want to point something out, guys. There are a lot of teams. Let's take a look at the NFC. This is the NFC standings right now. Do you see where the Buccaneers are ranked in the NFC? Forget the number 4. That's the 4 seed in the playoffs. But when it comes to records and tiebreakers and all of that, the Buccaneers are where? 6th. 6 out of 16. That means there are 10 teams below the Buccaneers that would love to be in the position that we are in. 10 teams below the Buccaneers right now that are probably, let's look below the Buccaneers. Green Bay, are they calling for their head coach's head? Probably not. Are the Rams calling for Sean McVay's head? Probably not. Pete Carroll's head? Nope. Yes, in Atlanta, probably yes in New Orleans. All of a sudden, the Giants have won 3 in a row. Chicago, probably going to lose their head coach. Washington, probably going to lose their head coach. Arizona, I have no idea. They lose their head coach every year, and so does the Panthers lose them twice a year. All right, now let's look above the Buccaneers. Minnesota, Detroit, Philadelphia, Dallas, and San Francisco. There is stability there, guys. There is stability above the Buccaneers and right below the Buccaneers. Why would you want to be one of those teams? Why would you want to put yourself as a Bucs fan in the position where, once again, we're going to hire a new coach. We're going to have to start it all over. All these defensive players that are good for one system. Now you bring in someone else. They're going to bring in their defensive coordinator. Whatever, you're going to have a different defensive system. Are these guys the right kind of guys for their system? You're starting over. And then, so you're throwing 3 years out, the next 3 years. And are you going to be patient? I don't think so. And I want to talk about why. But the point of the matter is the Bucs are 6th right now in the NFC. That means even if, God forbid, the Falcons or the Saints somehow beat the Buccaneers, even if they somehow beat the Buccaneers in the division, the Buccaneers would still have a wild card. The fact that they would still have a wild card says that there's a lot of teams below where the Buccaneers are right now that wish they were the Bucs. So we're going to bring one guest in right now, a regular caller back in the day when we took phone calls, and we will again soon. But I want to bring someone in right now, Todd from Winter Park. I want to bring Todd in. Todd, talk to me, buddy. Talk to me about how you're feeling about this team right now.
Well, Rick, first of all, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great.
Okay. Well, I'm feeling good about the Bucs right now. It's been an interesting year, but it's been a fun year. And Baker Mayfield, I think he's been good for us. He's a gamer. His turnovers are down compared to the last few years he's played. The running game is starting to mesh a little bit. I love our receivers. Of course, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are the class of our receivers, but of course, we got up and coming young receivers. Trey Palmer.
Well, and they're okay.
Rakeem.
Right. They're okay. The up and coming guys, But I think this team still needs another receiver. Needs a true number 3, and those guys can be role filling guys.
I I agree with you, Rick. We need it. We really haven't established that third receiver yet. We've got
Right.
Devin Tompkins. Trey Palmer's been okay,
Yep.
but they're still learning. So I think that's good. Rashad White has been coming along. Uh, I think we've got a gem in him. He's only going to get better.
Yep.
Um, I think our defense has kept us in most of the games this year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a few games where, like the Houston game, it was a high scoring game, but overall, our defense has played really, really well. And Levante David, he's having an outstanding season. I don't know if this is going to be his last year or not, but I'm telling you,
Please no.
Levante is class. He's a he's a great defender, uh, going side to side, and I think he's taught Devin White a lot. Now, Devin White's another story. I love Devin, but I don't know what's going to happen with Devin. But overall, I think it's been a really fun year. I hope we can go in Green Bay Sunday and get a win. And we control our own destiny now, Rick. And I don't know how you feel about the rest of the schedule. I think the schedule is I think they're all winnable games because Jacksonville hasn't been playing good. We beat New Orleans earlier. We beat Carolina. These next four games are all winnable games. It's up to the team. It's up to the coaches and the players.
Well,
The players, they have fought all year. When they went out to San Francisco, they had opportunities. They had a chance to actually win that game against, I think, the best team in the NFL right now. So that's saying a lot.
Well, now let me say this, Todd. I don't think this team's going to win out. I don't think we're going to win our next 4 games. I think you're correct that they are all winnable, but I've not seen anything in this team that makes me think they're going to win all 4 games. Having said that, I do think that they will beat the Panthers. I do think they probably will beat the Saints. If they win one of the next 2, games, just one of them, we're looking at a winning season. We're looking at a 9-7 season, a season where the team improved when you lost Tom Brady and replaced him with Baker Mayfield and got better. Now, if we only win 2 games, we lost Tom Brady, replaced him with Baker Mayfield, and stayed at the same level. That doesn't feel like horrible coaching to me. I understand where people are coming from in their criticism of Bowles because his personality doesn't do him any favors. He doesn't, to us as fans, keep this in mind. I'm talking about to us as fans, he does not inspire us. He's very, I'm sure he inspires the team. When the cameras are not on, when he's dealing with the team, when he's working with the team and the players, when they're teaching the players, I think that they, at that point, I think they're inspiring them. But to us as fans, we see Todd Bowles. He's not an emotional guy on the sidelines, and I don't care what any fans say. You do not have to be an emotional guy on the sidelines. But what I do care about is this team, let me say this, is this team moving forward? Is this team getting better? Is it better than last year? Remember, we had Tom Brady. I'm going to say it again. The greatest player, no doubt. I don't think it's even debatable, of all time. Tom Brady is gone. Now we have Baker Mayfield. a guy who's getting paid $4 million a year. He's probably paying like he's a $6, $7, $8 million a year quarterback. Okay, so we're getting a bargain out of this when we didn't have money. This team is in a situation, it's in a tough situation, cap-wise and all that. And I'll be doggone if we're not on the precipice. When two of them, we have the same record as last year after Tom Brady. Win one of these next two games, and we are probably having a winning record and improving on last year after losing Tom Brady. And what blows my mind is that some people want Bill Belichick to come here and coach. What did the Patriots do after they lost Brady? They've gotten consistently worse. If Tampa gets better this year and improves, why would you replace a defensive-minded coach in Todd Bowles with another defensive-minded coach in Bill Belichick when one seems to be on the incline and one seems to be on the decline? Todd, you've been a fan for a very long time. I know that. You and I have had conversations for years. I want to know from you, as you look back and your memories of the Buccaneers. I mean, is this not a year you would have killed for? Most years, almost any year, that you would have just begged for a moment like this, or leading the division this late in the season? Yeah, 6-7, I get it. But wouldn't you have? I mean, how many years has this team not been leading the division?
Rick, I can remember back in the day, when we were going 2-14, 3-13, and every year I was always positive about the Bucs because I was such a big fan.
Yep.
I've been a Bucs fan since they came into the league in 1976, and I'm loyal. I love the Bucs. Those years were tough years, and every year before the season started, I'd always say, I think this is going to be our year. I think this is going to be our year. And then it would be a letdown.
Right.
But then came 1979. Doug Williams came along. We had Ricky Bell. We had Kevin House. We had Jimmy Giles. And, things started happening for the Bucs. And then, 1981, and so those years were great years. I was upset with Hugh Culverhouse because, Rick, you and I have had discussions about this, about letting Doug Williams go. Right. God bless Doug Williams. He went to Washington and he got himself a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And I still think to this day, if Doug would have stayed with Tampa, I think at some point we would have got to the Super Bowl and maybe had a chance to win a Super Bowl with Doug Williams.
Possible.
Now, I don't know that to be a fact, but I like Doug Williams. I liked our team. Another name that I need to mention, those teams, is the great Leroy Selman. Wow. What a player Leroy Selman was for us. So those years were good. Then we had some years where we had some coaching problems and some coaches that really were not good head coaches.
Richard
and then we get into the early 90s.
Ray Perkins.
And then we start drafting Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks,
Sam White,
Warwick Dunn.
Yep.
Yeah. And then this team starts, and then we change the pewter instead of the creamsicle. And then things start to happen for us.
Yep.
And then we had to trade to Oakland, give up a lot to Oakland to get John Gruden to come here.
Yep.
And John Gruden got us a Super Bowl with a quarterback named Brad Johnson.
Yep.
Now, we had Michael Pittman. We had Keyshawn Johnson. We had a pretty good offensive team, but it was led by our defense. Brooks, Barbara, Sapp, I don't know if I mention John Lynch, Simeon Rice. I mean, I could go on. And,
Sure.
you know, that was an exciting time and a great Super Bowl win over Oakland, 48-21, which was amazing. So, it's been a kind of a roller coaster. And then we bring in Bruce Arians. And then, and a great hire by Jason Light. And by the way, Jason Light, we don't need to lose Jason Light to any coach that comes in. If Bowles is replaced, Jason Light has to stay with us.
Yeah.
Rick, you and I have agreed that Jason Light has done a great job with the draft.
Absolutely.
And everybody has hits and misses. But getting back to Bruce Arians, the hire of Bruce Arians, and then the very next year after we get rid of Jameis, we bring in a guy named Tom Brady, and it changed the whole organization. And those 3 years were fun. It was fun. We got a Super Bowl out of it, and the rest is history.
We did it backwards. To be honest with you, we did that backwards. I figured it would take a couple of years for Brady to really impact and change the organization. And then after him being here for 2 years, maybe 3, then maybe we could win a Super Bowl. I had no idea it was going to happen in year 1. And the thing is, and by the way, somebody here named Game On mentions the fact that we have 13 players from the Super Bowl, and last year there were more, and they will still have a losing record. Common denominator, Todd Bowles. Well, okay, but what is different? You're talking about what's the common denominator? What's different? Well, now the team's paying for that Super Bowl. All right, they didn't pay for it that year. They were able to bring in all these guys, Gronk and Fournette, and they were able to bring all of these players in AB because they pushed the bill down the road. And when you listen, I love, there are things that I own. There are things that I own that I paid for on a credit card. I love those things that I'm paying for now. That's how it works. You buy yourself a new TV at Best Buy and you put it on your credit card. Okay, well, you can't sit there and say, well, 3 years ago, you got a brand new TV. Why not now? Well, you got one 3 years ago. You're still paying for it. Wait till it's done. I mean, this is the point. Not everything is as clean and neat and simple as we should be great every year. Great. We have 13 players who were on the roster then. One of them was Ryan Jensen. Okay, Ryan Jensen's not able to play now, so now we're down to 12. I mean, if we go through all of those guys, I guarantee you some of them are not starters, are not, and even if they are, that's 12 out of 22. It's not even half. So the comparison doesn't work. I mean, it is half. You're starting 22, 12. If 12 were starting, they're not. Okay. And I mean, you have Devin White's out injured, and God forbid. I mean, listen, man, Devin White's out injured, and it's helped this team. You can pretend that's not the case, but it has. It has helped this team. And Todd, thank you for calling. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. But everything you added to this, you're absolutely dead on correct. Listen, the future. Stop looking at it as though the future doesn't look good. The future looks better. Listen, the cap space is better next year. We're going to have the new draft picks. Dave Canales is going to have another year under his belt. And don't tell me our offense is not getting better as he's learning how to be an offensive coordinator. And you can deny that's what's happening, but he's learning how to be an offensive coordinator.
Rick, as always, I appreciate you having me. Thank you for letting me uh, have some fun here and say my comments. Um, I think uh, I don't want to get into the end of the year because we still have 4 games to go. But this is going to be an interesting off season. But
Yeah.
I believe in Jason Light.
Yes. Me too. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you too. All right, Todd from Winter Park. Man, it's good to have that guy back around. Listen, this is I guess what I'm kind of trying to bring up. Um, Christopher Cole, God bless you for this, man, because you are dead on correct. All we can do is root for them to win no matter what. When did that stop? This is my question. When did it stop, Bucks fans? When, because I remember, man, I sound like an old man, back in the day, but I remember when it was, that's my team. That's my team. I love my team. Even when we sucked, I love my team. Now it's everybody, I'm going to criticize my team. I'm going to point out what's wrong with my team. I'm going to show how I could be better and smarter. And it reminds me very much of a guy who's afraid to ask a girl out because she might say no and embarrass him. Oh, I don't want to go back to the playoffs this year because if we go back to the playoffs this year, we saw what happened last year. We got our butt kicked in the first round. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to ask her out because, oh man, if I ask her out, I asked this other pretty girl out and she said no. That was embarrassing. So you don't, I mean, it's the same mentality. It's the same mentality. It's this fear. You're afraid to be happy. You're afraid to say, I love this team. And then they lose and you're embarrassed online. You're embarrassed on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or wherever the heck you are. You're afraid you're going to be embarrassed. So instead, you're going to take the lead by saying, I knew they weren't going to win. So nobody can say anything to me. Be a fan of the team. Man, that's my team. Yeah, we got a butt kick today. That sucks. I hate it. But that's my team. And I love them. Win, lose, whatever. I'm not saying you can never have criticism. And this is the argument that drives me the most nuts. Is when you sit there and say, I'm going to stand by this team no matter what. And then people say, oh, you're just one of those people who's blindly going to say whatever they do is good. No, listen, Todd Bowles, I swear to you, every time there's a 50-50 call, let's say it's should he throw the challenge flag or not? Not really sure. Even me sitting there watching TV, not really sure. And Todd Bowles on the sidelines without the benefit of television has to sit there and make a decision. 50-50 call. He's not quite sure. Somebody's saying something in his ear. What does he do? He says, okay, throw the flag. It'll be wrong. It'll be wrong. Or he says, don't throw the flag. Well, it ends up he probably should have thrown it. Every 50-50 shot. Should I call a timeout? Should I not call a timeout? I don't know. It's on the border. Whichever one he does, it's going to work out wrong. I'm with you. I'll admit it. I'll go with you on that. Okay? I'll go with you on that. That seems to be the way that it has worked. I'll admit that he's too slow in changing players that need to be changed out. But for the people who say, to the people who say things like, oh, there were 9 players on the field on that play, shows the Bucs are poorly coached. Every team has breakdowns every game. Let me say it again. Every team has breakdowns every game. Green Bay lost last night. Miami lost last night. Does that mean that Miami sucks? Does that mean you should get rid of the coach? Because, this is how it works. You'll go online and say, well, obviously they're a poorly coached team to not beat Tennessee. It's Tennessee. And now you feel like you're not going to be embarrassed by saying, I like a team that might lose. It's okay to root for a team and be happy when they win. When did it become so unacceptable and uncool to be happy? When did that happen? Why can't you just enjoy the victories? You can be sad, a little bit mad after a loss, but don't sit there every game before the game starts and already be being critical of the team. You want to know what you look like? Here's a Carolina Panthers fan. I don't know if you can read this, but it says, I want to begin thanking God for the opportunity that I have had to do what I love, which is cheer for an NFL team and watch football. Thank you to the Panther Nation for welcoming me to call this team home and call Panther fans my family and friends. I originally became a Panther fan when Julius Peppers was drafted. And when he left, I too left. I returned to the organization in 2012. Now, this guy goes on. Let me just say this. When Julius Peppers left, he left. That means he was a Julius Peppers fan. That doesn't mean he was a Panthers fan. It means he was a Julius Peppers fan. All right, so Julius Peppers leaves, he leaves. And he says, I returned to the organization in 2012 because I wanted to root for my hometown team. The last 11 years have given me memories, some good and some bad. But it was always about the journey. About the journey we shared. Sorry, this is really small. It's hard. It's very hard to read. I will never forget these memories that these memories made, and I will keep the Panthers close to my heart. And at the end of it all, I can say I gave the Carolina Panthers my all. Please respect my decision as I enter the fan transfer portal. Daquan Mickens. The fan transfer portal. He said he gave it his all. No, he didn't. No, he did not. He did not give it his all. I can tell you because I know fans who have been Buccaneers fans since 1976. I know because there are Buccaneers fans who have stood by this team. I know that. And they're still there. And they're still rooting for the team. And the moment the quarterback throws an incompletion, they're not running online to say, look at how smart I am. I noticed. Look, they did this wrong. Oh, look. It's not. Listen, guys, so many of you, you're not a fan of the team. You're a fan of you. You're a fan of you. And I want you to be a fan of the team. And there are good fans of the team. Now, I want to say this. For many weeks, well, for a very long time, I've been doing a segment. And we're going to do it a little bit differently. You guys know it's become kind of a popular segment around here where I grab some of the ridiculous posts that Buccaneers fans make every week. We're going to do this, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. Watch.
Stupid Bucs fans say.
All right, let's talk about the stupidity the Bucs fans say. And we're going to do it differently. I'm going to bring up one post this week. I'm going to bring up one post put up by a Buccaneers fan. Jeremy Beatty. I don't know who you are, Jeremy, but you posted the record of the NFC South in week 14. Tampa Bay, number 1, 6-7. This is in a Bucs fan group. Okay, and it shows the records, and it shows the Carolina Panthers at 1-12, and Jeremy Beatty, a self-identified Bucs fan, said I'd switch places with the Panthers in a heartbeat. We need our quarterback ASAP. I'd switch right now. I'd switch records with the Panthers in a heartbeat. Well, first of all, Jeremy Beatty, by all means, go right ahead. No one is stopping you. No one is stopping you. As a matter of fact, Daquan, what's his name, just got out of there, so there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room. Go. Be a Panthers fan. You said I'd switch records with the Panthers because we need our quarterback. The Panthers just drafted one. And look at what their record is. You think that drafting a quarterback is going to magically solve everything? You say, well, what about CJ Stroud? Okay. How many don't turn out like CJ Stroud? And by the way, it's still very early with CJ Stroud. How many don't work out? We've got 2 Super Bowls. Who were the quarterbacks? An old guy named Brad Johnson and an old guy named Tom Brady. If you look back at the last Super Bowls, very few. Matter of fact, I think only Patrick Mahomes was young. And you certainly don't come off like the kind of guy who's going to be patient for the Buccaneers to grow. I live in Charlotte. North Carolina, home of those Panthers fans. There's plenty of room on the bandwagon here. Nobody's stopping you. You want to switch? You want to have the record of the Panthers? By all means, be a Panthers fan. They'll welcome you, both of them. They'll welcome you with open arms. There's plenty of room for you. Now, not all Buccaneers fans belong in this segment. I want to talk about another guy. Who I asked to be on the show tonight. He couldn't make it. But I'm going to talk about another fan, and I'm not going to talk about him from the same perspective. I'm going to talk about him a little bit differently. Okay? I'm going to talk about this gentleman, Mr. William Pickerel. I don't know if it's Pickerel or Pickrell, but I want you to hear his posts. We're 6-7 and lost to Atlanta and the Texans by a combined 5 points in a combined total of 91 seconds. The defense couldn't stop bothering teams with 45 and 46 seconds remaining. It almost happened again when Atlanta again had a whopping 31 seconds to go 75 yards. Luck was on our side for a change. Atlanta got to the 5-yard line and time expired. With a combined 2 minutes, 3 teams traveled 195 combined yards in 8 total plays, scoring 10 points, winning 2 of 3 games. I'm ecstatic that we won today, but man, we almost didn't. We should be 8-5 at least. 1 game in Buffalo and 1 at the Colts. 1 bit of luck. In Buffalo, Chris Godwin had a real legitimate chance. And of course, defense in Indianapolis, we could be 10-3. Could you imagine that? It was very possible. Not a pipe dream. Just a little luck and defense, and we'd be 10-3. We'd be in already, and everyone would be shocked. So who are we? If defense doesn't get it together, I'd hate to think. Please, Todd Bowles, light a fire under the feet of your defense. You're the genius. Get it done, because we're not a 6-7 team. That's reasonable criticism. That's how you criticize a team and you're still a fan. Let me read more from him. Same guy. Something most fans don't know about our last two opponents. Atlanta was ranked number 10 defensively in the league, while the Panthers are still ranked number 4 in the league. So this is for all of our brilliant fans who posted stuff like, how are we going to beat Atlanta in Atlanta when we barely beat a 1-11 Panthers team? There's only a thin line between the best teams, save maybe the top 3 statistical leaning teams and the rest of the league. Guys, you're trying desperately, all you guys who are ripping on Baker Mayfield and ripping on Todd Bowles, this is what you're trying to sound like. Do you see the difference? Do you understand the difference? This is good, sound, reasonable criticism. At 6-7, same guy. At 6-7, we're in the thick of it as an NFC South leader. Before you go all out and talk about how we are lucky to be the NFC South leader and our record is trash, right now there are 13 teams that are 6-7. Right now there are 7 teams that are 7-6. And right now there are 6 teams that are 5-8. 26 teams are within 1 game of us out of a total of 32. Oh my God, William, thank you. 26 teams are within 1 game of us out of 32 teams in the NFL. So we have 6 teams with better records, 3 of them at 8-5, and 1 more win. And all 6 of those teams have lost to teams in the 26 team scenario. So fans who think the Bucs are trash, are you actually saying 26 teams are trash? Either that or you're going to the woulda, shoulda, coulda for the team you might like while bashing the fans of Bucs for doing the same. Listen, guys, that's the stat of the year. 26 teams are within 1 game of us out of the 32, and you think we're so bad. You think we're so bad when we are 6th in the NFC, and you want to fire the coach. You say, well, it's because the NFC is bad. Listen, man, we're doing this with our hands tied behind our back with the salary cap. We are doing this during a rebuilding process. We are 6th. It's time to give a little bit of credit where it's due. It's time to give a little bit of credit where it's due. The information I'm giving you is not silly, it's not facts. These are facts. All right. What do we got here? We got Russ Weeks saying Green Bay losing last night is probably going to make them play better Sunday. So we need to come and have the best complete game we've had all year. Maybe that's true. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Let the fun begin. All right, everybody, put on your seatbelts. Welcome home, dude.
Hola.
How you doing, man?
First place, uno placio, buccaronio.
Did you just go Italian?
Well, I did have a baked ziti for dinner, like the commercial on Amazon Prime. Baked ziti.
Baked ziti.
Baked ziti.
How you doing, man?
Good. So, what do we want to talk about here?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw what I just read, but thanks to William Pickrell, a fan that's out there, brought up one of the best statistics. I mean, to me, it's the statistic of the year. We're so terrible. The Bucs are so terrible. We got to fire Bowles and get rid of Baker Mayfield. 26 of the 32 NFL teams are within one game of us, up or down.
So should we take their quarterback? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what they're saying. That's what some of these other fans are saying. We need to get another quarterback because getting a young quarterback always solves the problem. You know, when you draft a high draft pick quarterback, it solves all your problems. Oh, wait, Baker Mayfield was the first one drafted overall in his draft. Oh, wait, we had Josh Rosen. That didn't
Well,
solve the problem.
here's the thing. Some teams do have success with a number one or high drafted quarterback. And to be fair to Baker, not to Cleveland, he did take him to the playoff and win a playoff game as a Cleveland Brown.
No doubt.
Something Jameis Winston can't say. But the Buccaneers is who we're talking about here. And the Buccaneers, you want to know how many times they've done good picking a quarterback early? They haven't, except for Doug Williams.
Right. That's what I was getting into. And even when they're not picked by the Bucs, even if they're high draft picks that we get from other teams, we don't have success with them, really. I mean, you know, there's so many you can go through from Dilfer to
I would argue by 1990 standards, Dilfer was a successful Buccaneer. By 1990s standards.
well, yeah.
Here's the thing, Bucs fans. You're in first place. Yeah, it's ugly, but here's the thing. It's kind of like when you're 20 in your mid 20s, early late 20s, and you're at the bar. Okay, it's 1:00 in the morning. You haven't scored yet, so you're lowering your expectation, and you're going to take somebody home anyway. So you took someone home. You scored. It wasn't Giselle Bundchen you took home. It was more, not Giselle Bundchen, but you scored. You got the run across the plate.
Yep.
You hit the wide open receiver. Okay,
you split the uprights.
You split the uprights. You put the biscuit in the basket. So embrace it for what it's worth. Here's the thing. The same Bucs fans that are crying about, oh, we're a first place team with a losing record, were the same ones that said we wouldn't compete and probably would be picking first overall. So you can't have it both ways. I'm sorry that your expectations were that suddenly, without Tom Brady, the Buccaneers were a Super Bowl team when they weren't even a Super Bowl team with him, but for 1 year. With that said, hey, who does better at signing free agent quarterbacks than the Buccaneers?
Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Fact.
Who does better building a team from top to bottom before they install or spend on a free agent quarterback than the Buccaneers? Nobody.
Fact.
Who's the trendsetter in the league that said, you know what, we want your coach so bad we're going to trade for him? That was started by the Buccaneers. Who decided to win a Super Bowl in their home stadium? That was the Buccaneers. Who was the team that said, we don't care about no stolen crab legs. We're picking that giantest guy anyway. That was the Buccaneers. We are.
That worked out so well.
Well, I mean, honestly, let's think about it. It kind of did, because it took the GM to go, all right, so I really screwed up on the Jameis pick, so we got to put a really good team around him. And then they put a good team around and went, you know what, screw that, go get Tom Brady.
Yep. But I got to point something out here, dude.
Okay.
And I'm going to put a comment on here by somebody, by Game On. And this is the stuff that drives me nuts when he says, don't use the cap to excuse Todd Bowles. Okay, first of all, I'm not using the cap to excuse Todd Bowles, but how about this, Game On? How about don't ignore the fact that this team has $75 million less than every other team, 33% of the cap, 33% of what they can spend on a roster. Okay, 33% less than every other team in the league. All right, so Todd Bowles is doing this with 2/3 He's got 2/3 the money to spend to put together the team of what everybody else does, Todd Bowles and Jason Light. And with 2/3, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to put this back up on there. With 2/3, they're 6th in the league, in the conference. They're 6th in the conference. 26 teams. Thank you, William Pickrell. 26 teams within a game of them. So just because you say something like, oh, don't use that as an excuse, I'm not. But I'm also not sticking my head in the sand and pretending that doesn't exist. I'm not pretending that's not a hurdle, that they're not paying the bill for the Super Bowl. I'm not going to pretend it. I'm not going to cover my eyes and pretend that doesn't exist. That's a pretty big thing you've got to overcome. And they're doing it.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Like I was saying a little bit earlier, or maybe a while ago, I don't remember. The same people who are complaining, oh, yeah, we're in first place, but we have a losing record, were the same ones that swore to God they didn't care about the season because this is a rebuild, even though they're not saying it. It's a rebuild. It's a rebuild. It's a rebuild. It's a rebuild. It's not a rebuild. It's a restructure. It's a realignment. It's a redo. Well, either way, they're in first place. Okay? So if you were mad because they were going to rebuild the season, you can't be mad that they're in first place while they're rebuilding. I'll just point it out this way. We can keep pushing the salary cap down the road like the Saints have done since they won the Super Bowl. Notice I said since they won the Super Bowl. They haven't been back.
Right.
So trust the process unless it's a college football playoff. Yeah, I'm not going to let that go, dude. And here's the thing, Bucs fans. I'm with you. At 4-7, I'm looking at mock drafts. I'm seeing what's coming down the pipe, right? You never know. Maybe one of these quarterbacks might be good in the NFL. Maybe there's a stud whatever out there. But right now, it's kind of like that saying in The Sopranos. Every time I try to get away, they suck me back in. And if they haven't sucked you back in, now here's the thing. Is Baker Brady? No. Is Rashad playoff Lenny? No. Mike Evans is Mike Evans, whether you like him or not. Chris Godwin and his wife are the new Kurt Warner and his wife. We've got a young, exciting defense. If you're not excited watching Yaya Diaby and Khalija Kancey, and heck, in the last couple of weeks, KJ Britt and even JJ Russell, then here's what it is. You just want to wallow in misery, and I don't got time for that shit. Okay?
Exactly right.
I'm sorry, Facebook. Time for that poop. And but with all that said, do I complain about them? Yes. Do I celebrate when they win and they do good? Yes. That's what being a fan is. Both things can be true. I can be mad at my team because I didn't like the way it went, but that doesn't mean the reality of the world is that way. It's what I didn't like. Now, with that said, I'm a little disappointed in Mr. White Scarver. I like seeing him on screen because, red hair and all that, the demographic of the gingers. But
well, it's funny. All these North Carolinians up here, where do we go on vacation? We go to Florida.
Yeah.
Where did he go? North Carolina. They're in the mountains somewhere.
Well, okay. So he likes moonshine. Okay, cool. Or NASCAR, one of the two.
NASCAR's here in Charlotte. That's no, he's up in the mountains of North Carolina with his wife, probably enjoying some ski resort or something. I don't know.
Okay, wait. Are you gonna? Okay, I don't want to dog the man because I'm not exactly a physical specimen. But are you trying to really tell me Dave's skiing with two skis on him out?
No. I didn't say he's enjoying skiing. I said he's enjoying a ski resort.
Okay, because if we can get video of Dave skiing, I feel like that would be tantamount to getting footage of Bigfoot.
That would be awesome. He's in a cabin enjoying look, God bless him. Enjoy it. Enjoy your vacation. I'm jealous.
If you want to enjoy some cold weather up in the mountains, but you're in Florida. Just stick your head in the ice box and a fan on your lower extremity, and that's what it's like to be in North Carolina right now. It's colder than a you know what.
Yep.
And I'm in Tallahassee, so I'm not far from you. And dude, this is not. I don't like hot weather, but cold, damp weather, no. Hey, Seattle, take it back.
Yep.
Take it back.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this kind of weather. Wait, we're on Facebook, aren't we? All right, never
Yeah.
mind.
Hey,
Yeah.
are you able to stick around for a minute?
Yeah, I'm kind of like herpes right now. I'm just here, bro.
Okay, let's do something. Let's have a little fun.
Ooh,
Let's do the meme grinder. Can you see the screen? All right, yeah.
I'm all about ground beef.
All right, hold on. All right, for those who wonder what is the meme grinder, the meme grinder is simply a collection of memes that I got that I picked up throughout the week, some of which may be poignant, they may be funny, they may just be stupid, they may be whatever. They're just memes. First one. Lotters will be shoot on sight. Lotters are not afraid.
I was gonna say, is that a French otter?
Yes,
Les otters.
that's right. Lotters are not afraid.
Shout out to our Canadian fans.
That's right. And you thought seasonal anxiety was bad? Check out seasonal incontinence. Yikes.
Yeah. I get that 4 times a year.
Well, I've had a stomach bug recently, so
I've had a stomach bug for since the Obama administration, pretty much.
there's got to be some other word for elf on a shelf when it comes to this.
That's because he's probably watching porn, right?
Well, no, he's
filming. He's
Right.
filming naked Barbies, right?
Right in the sink, right?
All right. The stink in the sink.
Yeah. The ho 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 and the ho ho hos.
No.
I don't know.
That's one of my favorite snack cakes.
There we go. All the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. Used to. It's like Dexter. If one of them was instead of Dasher, they had Dexter.
Which is also how you pronounce YouTube in Florida.
Used to.
Used to.
When I shop, I don't just buy the first thing I see. Eyebrows.
I feel like this is the perfect time to insert a Manscaped promo if we had one. But okay.
Yes, absolutely. I love this. Life after Toy Story was not easy.
And,
wow.
we all want to be an adult till we're an adult.
Wow. All right. They say one friend out of every group has the potential to be a serial killer. So I threw Dave off a cliff just in case it was him. And that's why
where Dave is.
That's right. That's why Dave is not here tonight. All right, let me tell you this. Passing touchdowns since week 8. Dak Prescott in Dallas has 22. Brock Purdy has 14. Jordan Love has 12. Baker Mayfield has 12. Matt Stafford has 12. Now, that is pretty impressive for Dak Prescott. Let's give the devil his due.
You know what that tells me?
What?
That we need to draft a quarterback last in the draft.
There you go. Yes, absolutely. It worked pretty good before with Tom Brady.
What is Jordan Travis's ankle for 1,000? Oh,
still can't believe they called this offsides. I love this. I thought that was great. All right, that's it for the meme grinder. I just wanted to do it real quick.
Yeah, I got a question. For Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles.
Yes, sir.
How many players does it take to stop a run play in the red zone?
Okay, so I brought this up earlier, and this is my point. You think in any game, any team, you cannot do a screen capture and find a breakdown many times? Yes, of that magnitude. I think it happens. You
I
know?
just, I just thought it was funny because when we played with 9 players on the field, so what you're saying is we had 9 players and 2 Devin Whites. Hit
Well,
the drum.
I was about to say when we had Devin White, we had 10 all the time anyway. I mean, and by the way, Carlton Davis, let's give the guy props. He's, I think, earned some of that. He had a lot of criticism earlier. He's been playing well.
Well, the thing with Carlton Davis is, and this is a problem with fans, period. You have to look at the body of work. You can't go 1 play, 2 play,
Right.
he sucks.
Right.
Everybody, Darrell Revis, name them, legendary defensive backs.
Right.
They all get beat.
Right.
No one's unbeatable.
Right.
Well, except for the 2023 Florida State Seminoles. Sorry, I couldn't help it, man.
Never gonna let that go.
I'm in Tallahassee, bro. I am the new UCF.
Hey, just declare yourself champs. You see how well that worked out for them.
I want James to stand on a table in the quad and scream it.
He already did that.
Yeah, well, kind of. Here's the other thing. Hey, Kirk Herbstreit. I learned a valuable lesson about 6 years ago. If you're going to say stuff on the internet that you know is going to upset people, don't act weird when they come back at you and start firing at you and digging up tweets from 30 years ago. The problem was, Mr. Herbstreit, not what you said. You're allowed to say what you say. The problem is you responded to the trolls. And that's the job for people like me and Rick here to do, because we don't give a shit.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
poop. We don't give a poop.
All right, dude, I'm going to call it a night. But man, you need to come by more often.
Man, it's like a high school date, man. I get here, you shoot your load, and you're walking out the door already, bro.
Yeah, well, you got here late, you know?
Well, fashionably late.
A little past that. No, I've got, for those who don't know, I, in my real life world, work sort of in retail, and it's the Christmas season, and I'm tired. So, dude.
With that said, hey, real quick, while you're out shopping or driving around during the holidays, I understand there's a lot of people there. I understand it's kind of crowded at some of the retail outlets. Be patient with the workers. Be patient with the people out there. There's no reason to get mad and yell and scream at them. Trust me, they're talking more crap about you behind in the back room than you are talking about them on social media. Be kind to your retail workers this time of year. Every time of year, but especially this time. Realize they're working while you guys are hanging out with your family. Even though Thanksgiving's gone, if you see somebody working on Christmas Day, tell them thanks. Even if you're not shopping there or buying what they're selling, just appreciate the people for doing and being there for you when you want to buy, your Reese peanut butter cup because mom's cooking on Christmas sucks. That said, Rick, as always, it's a pleasure, never a chore. Shout out to all the Bucs Report contributors out there, AJ, Slick, Dave in the mountains, JT, Garrett, Devin, Old Salty, Real Bucs Talk, all you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to take Rick's tagline because it's Rick's tagline. So here's what I will say. This week, it's the Battle of the Bay of Pigs. It's the 500 hovering record Packers versus the 500 hovering record Buccaneers. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Bucs fan, this is 1990s Buccaneer versus Packer football at its finest. Come get some Jordan Love. Baker's going to cook. That's really all I got to say. I'm going to jump out of here because I know, Rick, you're a special guy and you need a special closing.
All right. It's good to have dude back. That's got to happen more often. Listen, man, there are so many of you even making comments here that you're just trying to find ways to just, you got to say something negative. It's okay to be happy. Remember this, guys. It's actually okay. You don't need to be embarrassed to be happy. You don't need to, it's like we're flashing back to the grunge days where everybody's got to be like, man, we got to be so full of angst. Let it go, man. It's okay. Go Bucs, man. That's my team. I love them. I love them. If they lose this week, I'm still going to love them. And I'm not going to need to go online and show you how smart I am. I'm still going to be a Bucs fan. And I always will be. Always will be a Bucs fan. That's kind of how it works with me. I want to thank all you guys for being here. I want to thank you for the comments. Is it Dritz 924, Russ Weeks, thank you. Game On, thank you. Even though I don't agree with you, Christopher Cole, as always, you are the man. Christopher, thank you for being here. All of you guys, thank you for being here. It's been a fun show. I didn't get to what's cooking in the South, so next week we will cover the top 3 fast food burgers. So you want to be here for that. Dave will be back, no doubt, with Don't Be a Baby and all the usual shenanigans. But don't forget, guys, the Bucs are tied for first. 26 teams are within 1 game of the Bucs. It's not like the Bucs are sucking. Whether you realize it or not, the Bucs right now have the same record they had last year with Tom Brady. Guys, if you're that critical, you're not able to see the big picture and the total picture. And if you're saying, forget the cap space stuff, you're not able to understand the reality of the game. All right? You can't. You just, it's a big part of this game, guys, whether you realize it or not. I want to thank you for being here. Thanks for coming by, guys. It's been a fun show. Have a great night. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.
We sucked today. I sucked today. We sucked today. It was awful.